I've been a fan of the Elixir since it came out, and it does exactly what I need to do. Long off the tee, holds a lot of greens. I can easily spin it with the wedges. Performs very well, okay? When the new ball came out, the Vero X1, I was skeptical because they say it's longer off the tee, but usually that means it's a harder cover. Well, it's not a harder cover. It's just as spinny as the Elixir, but it just pounces off the face. It is amazing. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for an extra couple yards off the tee and still want that same spin number that you get in your wedges and your irons and everything else. It is an awesome ball. Team Encore. See that? Got me for life.
For more information, their website is www.encoregolf.com. And be more with Encore.
Having a corporate or charity golf event? Backswing Golf Events can supply your tournament with personable, professional golfers to entertain and fundraise on the golf course. They can accommodate any size group, whether it be 3 players to 500. They are your team. From range lessons, Beat the Pro, and Pro-Am style roaming, they're making lasting memories one swing at a time. So make sure to check out backswinggolfevents.com or call us direct at 661-316-3093 and book your pros now.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to On Par with Amanda. This week, I'm going to have Biggs join me.
Hey!
Hello.
Hello.
Long time no see. So I we've been so caught up with the Phil narrative and just all the drama going on. I kind of wanted to lighten the mood this week. And I have some info about Tiger that's some cool things. So I first want to start out by talking about, so Tiger Woods, we all know memorabilia is a huge thing in the golf world. A lot of people display it in their offices, Biggs, I mean, it's just part of kind of, I think, even people that don't really play golf hardcore, they seem to always have golf memorabilia up in the office. It's like a very classy thing to do. So with that said, there are a set of clubs. It is, let me just get my facts straight. It is a 2-iron through a pitching wedge, and they are being sold at auction. It is from the Tiger Slam. So back in the day,
Titleist.
Yes. So these clubs were bought by a gentleman who bought them for auction for $57,000. Which is crazy enough. He bought them, and he has said, because of course everybody's going, why are you selling them? He said, I want somebody else to enjoy them. They have been displayed in my home office for a long time, and I just want someone else to get the chance to do the same thing. But let's be clear, folks. This is not going to be a cheap purchase. This is not going to be a $57,000 purchase. So to put it in perspective, Horton Smith, who won the inaugural Masters and then again 2 years later had a green jacket that went to auction in 2013. It sold for $682,000. Can you even I can't even fathom what Tiger memorabilia is going for.
Yeah, it's definitely going up to 7 figures.
So it's 2 through pitching wedge and 2 Vokey wedges. So a 58 and a 56 and a 60 degree. Both wedges are stamped Tiger on them. The club that gets the most attention is the 8-iron because of its wear pattern. So it has a perfect wear spot in the center. I mean, it looks like it's been stamped on there.
Right.
And it said that Freddie Couples at some point said that Tiger always starts with his 8-iron, and then Tiger started doing the same thing because you don't have to bend over to start your warm up.
Right.
It's a club that kind of fits you just standard. And that's what you hear from a lot. So it goes on to say that these will go to auction. And I just don't know what do you think, Biggs? What are they going to go for?
So I was reading some of the, social media posts about this, and how it was going to go to auction. My number that I think it's going to go for is $2.1 million.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, I'm reading here and it says because they've talked a lot with the owner because people have been begging him to put them back on the market for a long time.
Right.
And he said, I left my big law firm when I first sold the irons 12 years ago, really realizing that this is what I wanted to do. I spent most of those 12 years trying to get them back. So he's trying to get them back from from this owner that has them now, Brock. So when somebody wants something, they're willing to pay extraordinary prices. And
this is a full set. This ain't just one club.
Yeah.
This is his whole set.
Yeah. I just don't know. And I really think that, memorabilia, while it is great and stuff, but it's just crazy. It just shows you there's a lot of people out there with a lot of money. And
does it show actually how he had it displayed in his office? Did he have it shadow boxed, or did he?
He said yes, he did. He said, and he talked about he remembers bidding on the clubs at the front row of a Garth Brooks concert, winning the irons at a bid of $57,000 back in 2010. So a few years removed from Wood's sentimental Masters win from Tiger, and just a few weeks after he was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. Oh, this is the current. Gotcha. So I know that he said it was in his office. I'm looking to see quickly if I can find. I want to say he said that they were displayed up in a shadow box.
Yeah.
And he said, I got to enjoy
because
them
that's going to make a difference whether they were exposed to elements and
Sure.
and all that stuff. But if they were well preserved in a shadow box, then yeah, that number 2.1, I think,
he kept them in a frame in his office. So I would assume that they were
covered
under glass.
Yeah.
And just like displayed out, but
maybe flowered out, yeah.
So I'm anxious. I will definitely keep us posted on that. The other Tiger stories, just kind of fun. We always want to know kind of the drama on the course and whatnot. And playing and me having a caddy of my own, I've definitely had my moments of getting into an argument with them on the golf course and during a round.
I've heard a couple stories, or
you might have heard a couple stories
from your
caddy. Entirely my fault, but so there was an article posted that's called "Acting Like a Child." It's the biggest disagreement that led to Tiger Woods ignoring his caddy, who at the time was Steve, for 6 holes at the 2003 Masters. So he literally ignored him. So I kind of want to just share this story. So Steve Williams, he released this story and said it was the biggest fight they had ever had. And he said it was the 3rd hole at Augusta National, and Williams had advised Tiger to hit his driver from the tee position. That was the shot, but Tiger wanted to use a long iron. Well, finally and this is the epitome of why you have to make your own decision, because he wanted to hit long iron. So he hit driver based on what Steve recommended. He tops it now, or kind of whiffles it out there. Doesn't hit a good shot. And Steve said it was a shot that even a 25 handicapper would have hit. Like, that's how bad the shot went off. And he said, of course, Tiger immediately turned to him and blamed him. Now, I think you just missed a shot. I don't think that it meant driver wasn't the shot on that hole, but mentally he just wasn't in a good.
Mentally, he had a long iron on his head.
Right. So you know what you do? You hit long iron.
Right.
You don't. If
you're swinging a driver as a long iron.
Yeah, like and that's the thing. Like, if my caddy recommends something and I say, you know what, I just don't feel that, I can't. That should be enough for that caddy to say, okay, do what, because we all know that golf is part of, if you're committed to the shot, you can get away with a lot.
Right.
But if you're not committed. So he said that they went on, he literally did not speak to him from the 3rd hole until the 9th hole that day. And so he came up and it said that Tiger apologized and told Steve, I have admired the way that you've acted while I was acting like a child. Because Steve just probably kept quiet. And he said, Stevie and I disagree about club selection all the time, but that's part of the business. Yeah. And, I think that really is part of the business. You're never going to agree 100%. But I do think it's funny that, your caddy's a big part of what you do. So to ignore him for 6 holes is a big.
I've had my negative encounter with Mr. Steve Williams in face-to-face. And
sure.
I don't have a positive thing to say about Mr. Williams. If you want to share that story with you, I was golfing in the Pro-Am at the Western Open in Chicago at Cog Hill, and I was in the pro shop getting myself some balls, and here comes Steve Williams, grabs a yardage book and tries to walk out, and the clerk is like, "Excuse me, sir, you have to pay for that," and Steve's like, "You don't know who I am? I'm Tiger Woods' caddy, Steve Williams." And the clerk said, "Yeah, well, the scoring tent has your yardage books out there. That's complimentary. They're not complimentary in here."
Sure.
And he was just rude about it.
Sure.
And I was like, man, and I told him, I said, man, that's pretty rude.
Yeah.
And he looked at me. He's like, "Who in the hell are you?" I was like, "Well, I'm somebody that could talk about you on the radio.
Yeah.
And you're pretty rude."
Right.
And he just like put the scorebook down and walked out.
But, and it's amazing to me. It's like someone that we all know who you are. We all know, but you're still a human and part of society, and they're still running a business.
Right.
So, I think that's weird that you feel like you should get favors because you are Tiger Woods' caddy, or if you're Tiger Woods, like you still have to exist in the world as we all do. Yeah. So, I just think it's funny that he released this story so long after, like, why? And he claims, that this was the biggest argument that he and Tiger ever had over the years. And I guess on the golf course, yes, maybe. But outside of that, we know that obviously isn't the biggest argument they've had as just two people have ever had. Or you would still have a job.
Yeah.
So with that, I just think it's interesting. We have to remember that it goes back to these people are human. They are not up on this immortal pedestal. We're all human. So when you see things happening and transpiring on the golf course, it does happen. You see a lot of it washed away because you're watching it on television. So, I will keep you posted on what these golf clubs go for. I'm with you, Biggs. I think they're in the millions. I do. Till next week, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Biggs, for joining me. And until next week, keep swinging for par.